glasses. I was out biking yesterday morning. Just, I was biking yesterday morning. I went up.
Well, I mean, anything you need to do. I mean, it's all good, Dan. I'm used to it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our August meeting of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee. We had to move it back a date. We sort of had a little scheduling issue, but that's great. We're together. Today's going to be generally a working meeting, but we'll also cover some of our standard topics where we can. We have a couple folks, because we had to change the dates, couldn't be here. I know Chief Foley is with his sons watching Orioles Red Sox series, so I was hoping I would get an invite to that, but I didn't. And Teresa's in Nashville, and someone else was, Julie, and is at a workshop or something today, so, but that's okay. We'll move ahead. So let's go ahead with the meeting. The first segment we'll have a call to order. Do we have a motion to do that?
I so move.
Second.
Diane, thank you, Art. Unanimous vote, great, thank you. We'll then go into review and approve the agenda. The agenda is up there. This is basically what I think we posted earlier, so there's really no change to that. We'll go through the minutes in a little bit of detail. We'll do a safety contact from one of our residents, sent something, and I'm not going to have the video for it, but I will give you a handout in just a second. We'll talk about that. We'll have the reports from the town leadership where it's appropriate. And then the rest of the meeting is really geared to sort of a working meeting. We want to do some feedback from the trolley ride-alongs we've had. I think everybody here has participated on those, so we got some really great feedback, which can be forward-looking for us for where we want to go going forward. We're going to do a little bit of work on our Wave 3.0 initiatives, and the idea there is let's put some meat on the bones with that. Let's take a couple scenarios and how do we want to build it out, right? Who wants to be involved in it? Just if it's creating a video or something like that. Maybe using a pamphlet or something like that. So we'll do a little bit of work on that. And then lastly, we want to talk about our preparation for the community feedback session. Carl, you and I were chatting before. That's in October, where we're basically going to invite the community of Bethany to come and share their ideas, their thoughts, perspective. It's a listening opportunity for us, and we'll put that into our list of potential initiatives. I mean, we had the one we had actually from last year, and we'll build on that. Comments from the public and adjournment. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to accept that agenda? Okay?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. So let's go into the minutes. You can't really see all those. Those are what we were sent. Raylene, thank you again for sending this out in detail. Your minutes are outstanding. I mean, these sessions usually are very dynamic and have a lot of discussion, and you really capture the essence of those really well. So thank you, Raylene. I think we do have some changes that Art picked up. So those are in the comments that you got already, Raylene. And I think that those are incorporated up here. I used your latest version of it. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. The key thing I wanted to highlight from our last meeting, obviously, was having our guests from the Jupiter, Florida Police Department, right? Sergeant Panchak gave us a great overview of what they're doing around a topic that's been very topical for us. We've had a lot of feedback around motorized bikes and scooters. And so he gave us some really good feedback on that. Won't go through and hash all that out, but one of the key ideas we had is actually inviting him back either virtually or in person. I'm not sure you want to come to Bethany Beach in March, but maybe it's the other way around, right? But for our March meeting, where we'll invite all our other surrounding communities together, our thought was that might be a nice way to kick it off. Before we've had Deldot and Denrec and sort of tee it up, this might be a nice opportunity for him to focus on that topic and just give us some food for thought, if you will. And then we'll have the sort of same format as before. Any other just comments from that part of the meeting? Carl, from specifically Officer or Sergeant Panchak's
I saw on the news last night that Maryland is just starting to address the issue of electric bikes and scooters.
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything yet. They're still looking at the legislation that they might enact, but they're starting.
Yeah.
I don't think Delaware's started anything yet.
I thought the chief said that they did do something.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think you're exactly, I think there's more to come. I mean, I think the key from our perspective is we're trying to, and that's what Chief Foley has said, and that's what, is that we're trying to, a bike is basically a car, right? I mean, in terms of following those rules, and he's trying to hold people accountable to it. The motorized bikes, I think the key thing I learned from that were the 3 stages, or the 3 types.
Yeah.
You know, there's the 1, 2, those are basically under 25 miles an hour. Then they've got a 3rd stage, it's like a motorcycle, basically. It goes up to 60, well, I thought he said even more, so I can't imagine. So I think there's some real opportunities there. The other thing I learned from that, you talk about it in Delaware, these scooters, right, are basically illegal, right?
Yep.
But they're everywhere. I mean, they're like mosquitoes in, this time of year. They're everywhere. So, Carl, to your point, and I think that he talked about actually getting some kind of a licensing for those. So there's stuff in progress, but more to come.
I think there's something, a law might be going into effect in January for the scooters from Delaware.
Say that one more time.
There might be, there's something coming up, I think, in January, he
Okay.
mentioned, about the scooters.
Yeah, that's right.
From Delaware.
Right. So, Carl, I mean, I think you're right. There's a lot more to come, but I think there's movement to recognize it's an issue for us and all our surrounding communities. Just as one other thought around that, I had a thought, I forget who I talked to, but I'm actually thinking I'd like to invite Governor from Delaware
Meyer?
to come. I've talked to him a couple times. He's an avid biker, and he might want to come for our meeting in March. He gets to meet the constituents. We're talking about something that's, I think, near and dear to him. Not asking him necessarily to present anything, to listen. Maybe we can take him out for a bike ride, take him to lunch or breakfast or something.
Sure.
I mean, it'd be a nice engagement. So more to come on that, but that's just an idea to add to it. Okay, so the rest of the meeting sort of followed our normal format feedback. We had the feedback on our events we had, the Poseidon Adventure, or Poseidon Festival. It was a nice adventure.
It was an
I guess.
adventure.
It really was. We had some great interactions with that, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's a great environment for doing this. And the safety checkpoints we had, I think, were outstanding.
Yeah.
200 people probably,
Yeah, right,
all told?
we beat our record.
Oh, 300. Yeah.
300.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of bicycle repairing going.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And then the St. Martha's Picnic, I think, was successful, our participation on that. So that was just sort of that. Man, we did a lot that time. Okay, and then the rest is strategy discussion for Wave 3.0. That's what we're going to talk about and coming forward. Okay? Do we have oh, thank you. Right, John? You're right on time, sir. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
John.
Thank you. He wasn't handing me a parking ticket, by the way. I'm still okay. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve? And these are with the upgrades that
Mark?
Mark shared with us. So thank you, Mark. So
Second.
vote.
Oh,
Second.
aye.
Vote unanimous? Yes. Okay, great. So the last part is just a safety contact, and I'll hand this out. I wanted to try to do this visually. Those of you who know
Thank you.
I like to do things digitally, but the fact that it was an environment I couldn't really quite cut and paste the way I wanted to. But this was actually a safety contact that a resident, actually my next door neighbor, shared with us. You can't really see the picture very well, but that's on Route 1, and evidently there was a truck that was driving down, or this was in early June, and he and his mom were actually crossing. They were down here on like the east side of Wellington, crossing where we have the flashing signal. You know, and as they were entering that, they did all the right things. They checked, used the light, moved across, and what happened just down the road was a pickup truck was coming down, was probably going a little faster than it needed to. There were some cars backed up and swerved into the median, okay? Now, luckily, no one got hurt, right? But that could have been catastrophic, right? If they were a little bit closer, if those cars weren't there. I mean, there's a number of things, a lot of what-ifs with it. But the key thing that really, and you have the whole, my neighbor, I asked him if he could write that up, so you have the more detailed version of this. I'm giving you the synopsis. But I think the key that comes out of that is no matter, they did all the right things, right? They came to the rapid beacon, they looked, they used it, they made sure traffic was stopped, they started to go across, but still there was a problem down the road from them, right? They picked it up, they saw it. Luckily, it wasn't that close, but if somebody else were, you know, a little bit closer to it, it could have been. So it's that whole idea of, even though we have some rules, some procedures, some mechanisms to use, that's not good enough, right? You still have to be on your game. You can't cross the street while you're looking at the iPhone, or you're listening to your music, or your head's up in the air looking at the kites in the sky. It just is a recipe.
Families with strollers, don't assume because you hit that button,
Right.
they're gonna stop.
Right. So I'm going to leave this to you all to digest a little bit. I thank Sam for putting that together for us. He actually has a picture on it, and I can share that with you in a little better form. But it's just that whole idea of that awareness that we're trying to create, and how do we engage people even more effectively. So I thought that was a good one for that, and I wanted to share it.
Yeah,
So.
I think,
Right.
yes, I think one of the concerns I have is that whenever we ask for something, we don't have the statistics, but we have these near misses, and that's not a statistic. And I think we have to consider now these near misses to go forward and petition DelDOT to do other things for our safety here.
Right. Yes, yeah, and so the whole point of near misses, close calls, you know, those are one of the greatest gifts we have, because typically in a near miss or close call, there wasn't an injury, there wasn't anyone hurt. They could have been, right? But something did happen, so we want to make sure those usually are gifts if we utilize them the right way to learn from them. So, and that's what Sam was really trying to share with us here. It could have been a lot worse, right?
Chairman, just a comment,
Dan?
if I may. No good deed goes unpunished, right? I mean, here we are trying to make the roads safer, and we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy and resources in putting up flashing yellow lights and educating the public on how to use them. The other thing that I'm not sure that goes into a lot of detail, the experience I've seen is you may have somebody stopping when they see the yellow light, and it's the people behind them who don't stop. So the number of rear ends that we get, perhaps Officer Ryan can help us with some of the statistics on that. By the way, I think she's the representative of the police department today. I think she should be up here with us, don't you?
No.
It's a lot easier if you're up here and we can ask you questions and you can answer. But I think the problem is a very complicated one. And I do think it's something that we should be, when we get to the discussion on the Wave 3 initiatives, I think that's fodder for that candidate.
That's exactly the connection, and that's why Sam's safety contact that he sent, I went, man, that's perfect for what we're talking. That's a real life incident. It's a near miss, close call, and what can we learn from it? So, Bob, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I think we've all have seen this, and we all have. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we all have seen this throughout town. You can't assume anything because you hit that light just to walk out into the intersection. But maybe under Wave 3.0, we can have an initiative as an eye on safety. And again, they're looking for statistics, but a lot of these things don't happen because they're near misses. And maybe if we develop an eye on safety program where we can feel free, hey, and again, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago down on 26. There was another near miss.
Yep.
It was a little boy about 7 years old following the rules of the road, being in the traffic lane, being in the bike lane, have the parent in front of them and a parent behind them, fell onto the curve. Now, by the grace of God, he did not fall into traffic. But those type of things, if we can document it and just say, hey, we've seen this, and here's a potential improvement on what we could do, maybe for 3.0.
Yep, good. So, great, thank you all. And again, if you, as you know, when we have those near misses, close calls, those are really great fodder for safety contacts. It raises all our awareness and gets us thinking in a very realistic way of what we can do. So, thank you. So, I'd like to move to the next segment, which is our leadership reports. I don't think we have anything from Cliff or Terry. From the town. We've got a lot of projects going on. I just do want to highlight those. I mean, we literally got about 4 projects going on, literally on 26, right, in various stages of work. More to come on those, but those are all geared toward pedestrian and bicycle safety in one form or another. And, yeah, and so let me turn it over to Officer Ryan. So this was, I just wanted to go on record. I am not the person who invited you up, because we just had this whole conversation about, last time Officer Ryan was here, we were complimenting her on an amazing thing she did, pulled a couple people over at like 10 o'clock, they were on bikes, and gave them really an education, right, an opportunity to learn. And we came here to recognize, or Officer Ryan came here, we were recognizing her, and I wanted to add a couple comments. She was at the back door before I could do mine, so.
I've come to redeem myself. I will stay as
Oh,
long
your
as
mic,
you'd like
your
me
mic,
to.
your mic,
Sorry?
your mic.
Yeah. See, Officer Ryan, that's what goes with this, you know.
You wanted me to stand at the podium, but you guys invited me up here, so I might just stay
Whatever
seated.
works.
That's okay
I
with
do
you
want to
guys.
make comment, though, we have donuts in the back. Remember at the bike
Not
rodeo,
because
we
you're
were
a
commenting
police
on who
officer.
didn't get the donuts there, so I'm just saying.
I saw them when I walked in, I promise.
What are you saying?
Please.
All right, I am here, Chief is not, so I'll be here and I'll be going through the PowerPoint presentation for everybody. Guess. All right, so noticeable crosswalk and intersection related accidents. There has been 31 total motor vehicle accidents since July 1st. There's three noteworthy accidents that have occurred. On 7/10/25, around 10 o'clock p.m., a vehicle struck a bicyclist while in eastbound lane of travel near Wawa on 26. The cyclist was dressed in all black, no bike lights. The cyclist was reportedly trying to avoid a puddle, no injuries. However, he was knocked off the bike and not cited. I did not handle this accident, but I do remember hearing about it. He was going right after Wawa, right in front of Bayberry Woods. Usually there's quite a large puddle after it rains, and he must have went into the travel lane to try to get around the puddle. And the vehicle didn't see him because he was in all black and he had no bike lights. The next accident that we had was on 7/30/25. It was at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. It was a rear end collision at 1 in Ashwood as the vehicle was yielding to pedestrians actively in the crosswalk. So, like you guys had mentioned when I walked in here, the person behind them was not paying attention, so they ended up striking the vehicle from the rear. The at-fault operator was cited. And then the last noteworthy one, this just happened the other day. On 8/24, a J1 student was struck on an electric bike at 26 in St. Anne's by a DUI hit-and-run operator. The at-fault operator was cited for DUI by Ocean View Police Department, and then he was cited for vehicular assault by us, among other related traffic offenses, including driving in the bike lane. Again, I did not handle this one. It was Corporal Rogers and Patrolman Tressler. They handled this one. They were tending to the victim at the scene, and they were able to get out a bolo, be on the lookout for the driver, and he was seen crossing into Ocean View, so Ocean View was right there. They were able to get him stopped.
What time of day did that happen?
This was at around 4:30 at night, 4:30.
Drunk.
Yes. So on 7/24, around 10 p.m., one of the officers here noticed that the lights, the flashing beacons, is what I think they're referred to, the flashing beacons at 1 and Central were out. We notified Del Dot, and then they were fixed right away in the morning when Del Dot got to it.
Awesome.
Del Dot has been real responsive when that happens.
Yeah, they were very quick with responding out. So then Thursday, July 24th, we had a bike checkpoint. I was there for this one as well. 160 bike light sets were installed, and this was the largest since COVID. And then our next bike checkpoint was Thursday, August 7th. We had 142 bike light sets installed, and we'd like to give a huge thank you to John Fiore and his Del Dot OHS team for 2 great events. So our electric scooter campaign, we have been trying to crack down on all the electric scooters that have been riding around, and as of Friday, August 22nd, since 7/9/25, 38 written warnings for electric scooter violations have been given out. 31 out of the 38 were J1 students. The police department was contacted by Vacasa, Sea Colony, asking if they were illegal. Most of the people that we have stopped on the scooters are J1 students they're working at Sea Colony, either the aerobics area or the lifeguards, other items, so that Vacasa reached out and wanted to know why we were stopping all of their employees. And then one repeat offender was issued a $103 traffic summons for being given a warning prior and then not following through.
What were the type of violations that you guys were seeing, or written notices?
In relation to the scooters?
Into the scooters, yeah.
We have just been stopping them. Obviously they can't be on the road at all. So we're just stopping them, giving them a warning, letting them know that they can't be riding them, that they need to ride a bike. And typically after the one warning, if we see them again, then they're gonna get a ticket. A lot of the ones that I've spoken to, they just say that it's easier for them to get to and from their residence to their house, or from their residence to their work in a timely manner, which I understand, but we're just letting them know that it's not safe. Continuing along with the electric scooters, officers have made stops as early as 5:15 in the morning and as late as 1:30 in the morning as well, 1:30 at night. We are encouraged to stop while on OHS patrols in addition to shift patrols. This is Patrolman Meredith stopping. He stopped one at 5:15, and then he's also stopped one at 5:50. And then for the next event, Corporal Rogers will be present at the October workshop on BBPD campaign and safety efforts for 2025. Corporal Rogers will be there for that.
Great. Thank you, Officer Ryan. Questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I had the great pleasure of doing a ride-along with Officer Ryan earlier this week. She is modest in her presentation. She is a very knowledgeable, very wise patrol officer. That's a comment I can make about all of the officers, I think, in our department. Molly does a great job. The sort of approach that she takes to the job that she has, it tells an old guy like me who thought he knew everything about policing, because I worked in the field for 25 years, that I didn't know nothing. But her approach and her common touch and dealing with people, we made, I think, 6 or 7 stops. It wasn't a question of trying to meet a quota. If you remember Broderick Crawford and the real stories of the Highway Patrol and all that sort of stuff from many years ago, it's an approach that really seeks to educate people about safety and to assure them that where they're doing something right, there's that message, and where there's wrong, sometimes it's a warning. But a warning, as I learned, also goes into a file. So if you get warned once and then you have the same problem again, the result might be different. But wise counsel, incredible experience, and a very talented person. I want to thank her and thank her for all the work she does for the department.
Thank you.
Here's to you.
Thank you, Dan. Any other comments?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you for this flyer that Corporal Rogers put together about electric scooters.
Yes,
I think, I don't know if everybody's seen this or not, but it was effective, and I've shared this with my community in the recent newsletter that went out. It does, again, it's a start to deal with the scooter issue, and every little bit helps. So I appreciate this being done.
Yes.
Great. Super. Something just passed. That's okay. It might come back, it might not. I know these days I'm leaning toward it not coming back. Thank you, Officer Ryan. Really appreciate it. And just to reinforce what Dan said, just that personal connect of this isn't a job, it's a connection with people trying to, and you said that a couple times we're trying to prevent hurt, pain, and suffering, right? And that comes across not as I gotcha, but as what can we do going forward? And that's really what a lot of the themes we've had with every one of these conversations we've had. We don't have the badge, right? We don't have that authority, but we do have that caring approach, right? And when that comes across, then that's all we can do. That's the best thing we can do when we're having these conversations. Some of them will take. I think most of them will. There'll be a few that people push back. That's okay. Looks out in the mirror. We tried to do something there. That's good. So, so Ron, you're welcome to stay. And you've got a great seat now, and
I think I'll stay.
awesome. All right. Fantastic. Excellent. Okay. So I don't think we have any, with Julie not being here, from activities and events perspective, I don't think there's anything hot and heavy that...
Yeah, we do.
There is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked the question. Go ahead, Carl.
Week from Saturday is the Boardwalk Art Festival.
Right.
We had 3 people signed up. We could use more. If anybody wants to volunteer, I guess you can let Art know, and we'll divvy up the times because I think it goes from 10 to 4.
Yeah. So, we had talked about this before. Maybe it didn't get really captured in the notes. It's worth talking about. Having been up there a couple times the last couple years, I don't think that's the ideal event for us, only because there's so many people that are trying to go from thing to thing to thing to thing, and they're not really in a perspective. I almost found like they just want to grab a T-shirt and move, right? The quicker you can get them a T-shirt, and that's not the intent. I mean, I like a T-shirt too, but that's not our intent. Is just to sort of throw them out there, if you will. I would, and I'll open up to the group. I was, and I thought we had talked about this a little bit, that we're actually not going to have a table for that event.
No, we're not.
Is what I was thinking about. But I'll if folks have other perspectives on that, then let's tee it up. I mean, we certainly have some T-shirts left. We can, but it just becomes a. And we don't have to be there for the whole time. I know you said, I think, at 10 to 4. If we wanted to be there for part of it, that's fine. But let me open it up to the group. What do you all think? I'm fine to go either way.
This is with the chamber, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I think they require it to be staffed at all times, if you're having a table.
Okay. Well, I was there one time, and we literally ran out of everything, and I left. So. But I get what you say. The table is still there. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask. Is it because it's the first time I'm attending that event?
Yeah.
We do hand out T-shirts. That's the big item that we hand out?
No, I think we have before. We don't have to.
Okay, I was just asking.
We could hand out brochures. We could be there for conversation. it's so different than like the Poseidon event. You know, where Poseidon, we're having these great conversations with people, one-on-one or one-on-two or with families, or this is just like this, it's just a whole different vibe, that's all. So what do you all think? We can,
It's crowded.
Last year, we were on
Right,
the
exactly. There's a
pretty
lot of
far
different-
down
we
the
were
south end
sort
of
of
the
down on the
boardwalk.
end, which is
Yeah,
good and bad, I guess.
know Mark and I were there. We didn't get a lot of good interaction.
I mean, my tendency at this point would be to say, let's just say, you know, we've done a lot of things with engagement. This is, I think, a little marginal in terms of the impact, but if we want to do it, we can do it. It's, anyone?
Yeah, I'm signed
The
up.
key is if we have it, we can decide T-shirts and all that down the road. We got a couple weeks. We can certainly hand out what we have left of the T-shirts and deplenish that, and we have brochures. I know I'm not gonna be around that weekend, but, that's all, so. What would you like to do? Those of you who signed up, I mean, obviously you had an interest,
Well, what would you like to do? It's me and you.
and you don't have to be there for the whole thing. And I know what the rule is, but
Yeah.
if you can only be there for 2 hours, then 2 hours is good, so.
Yeah, or you could take the first two whenever you want to, and then I'll take the
So you guys, we'll go ahead and do it and work on the details with who and what we're gonna hand out, okay?
Sure, yeah.
All right? Great, super.
So we're taking you off the list for the 6th.
Yeah, because I'm
Done.
gonna be,
Got it.
yeah,
Okay, so right now it's just Carl and Bob.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. So let's move into the next segment, which is our trolley ride-alongs. I apologize, I was gonna try to go through there's been a number of emails that provided some feedback
Those threads.
from when we had these, and I was gonna try to assemble all that. I just ran out of time last night, so I didn't get there. So let's just sort of capture at the high level, what were some of the key takeaways that you all said? And again, I thank you all for capturing the notes, because the beauty of that, it goes to everybody.
Yeah.
And we get the benefit of that. But, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway, Mickey, was when you and I were talking to the bus driver, and he was saying how in the evening hours, he's had some near misses because of the J1 students, you know, riding their bikes and whatnots with their black uniforms.
Yep.
That would be a lessons learned for this Eye on Safety program. One of the things that we can do, maybe, in Wave 3.0 initiatives, is get with some of the local restaurants and whatnot, where they're handing out these black shirts, but maybe put some type of fluorescent naming on it. I talked to Bethany Diner, and I talked to the manager here of the restaurant here. They would be more than happy to do something like that, take on that and do it themselves. So I think that was the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from the trolley rides, is the students and the near misses.
Yeah, that was I'm glad you raised that one, Bob, 'cause that was an impassioned plea, I would put what he shared to us, because he really didn't know who we were. I mean, we were just introducing ourselves, and he said, we got to do something about, you know, kind of thing. You ought to be on this thing at night. And, you know, I mean, he was really, and it got our attention. And luckily, we had a little bit of time before the ride act, so we literally just chatted with him. So that was a great, great feedback. Yep.
Our grandson worked at night, and he has a black uniform. So we got one of the armbands that were passed out at the safety checkpoint, and he put it on his arm at night, you know, and the thing just is really very bright.
Yep.
It might be something we can get and, you know, pass out to the ABC students, all the J1 students, basically.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But if we can get the business owners who are providing them those shirts to put on some type of fluorescent writing or however they want to do it, because it's like the lights. You know, they have the lights, but most of the time you never see them turned on.
Right. You know, my perspective, and I would offer up this, and Officer Ryan, your perspective is probably most valuable of anyone here, but, I mean, I look at that all the time, and I very seldom see anybody who's got a helmet, lights,
Yeah.
and something easy to see. It might be one of those, it might be two, it's very seldom ever three, you know, or let alone riding on the wrong side of the road and you know, all that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of room to go, and a lot of people have, I mean, I think this is that continuing journey, right? I mean, I know ABC team they work on this, they've done incentives with it, they're frustrated with it sometimes, but we've just got to keep finding ways to press the flesh a little bit and get people to sort of say, this is for you, so that if something were to happen, you don't become a number, but okay, the business owner connection, yeah. Okay, I just want to get anybody from up here first, then we'll do it. Anyone else?
Well, again, I would just agree with everything that's been said. I mean, the driver on our rides both mentioned the same thing. Again, it's just, you know, trying to protect the people that have to be out at night for, I mean, I get it. Sometimes people have to, you know, they don't have a car and they need to be transporting from work to home, and they need to be doing this. This is their livelihood. And in turn, but they just need to be safe. And I've had just, in addition to the drivers, I've talked to a lot of people this summer that raised the same issue, is that they're very concerned about people being out at night and not being able to see them and what might happen. So anything we can do to try and address that, I think would be very helpful. So I agree with everything that's been said.
Okay.
I do too. The drivers were really great, I think, giving us information. But I think the other thing is, they even said, one driver said to me, you know, I have to be aware too that they're coming down now, both ways, you know, because you come out, you only look one way to go. And he said, now I am because of this now, I am very, you know, alert to making sure that they're not around me.
And any other feedback from the team on our ride-alongs? I think generally very successful.
Yeah, it was
They
very
turned out-
successful.
And I
They were very
appreciate, I
receptive.
think Art really, I think we had this on our list last year, and it sort of slid back a little bit, and I believe Art was the one who said, hey,
Yeah.
this might be an opportunity, so thank you, Art, for.
No, I'm happy to. Like I said, I think that it was a very good situation. Again, some people talk to you more than others, but we had some very good conversations. And one of the things I did learn, though, is that a number of people were very interested in the safety checkpoints, but were unaware of them. So if we do this next year and we hand out the bags, I think it might be worth putting together a little flyer to put into the bags that specifies that there's a July, you know, session, and then there's an August session, so that people can plan accordingly. Because that was one of the, especially Mark, you know, when we did the ride together, several people were like, oh, I had no idea that was going on. I'm very interested in that. And some of them actually did come by at the safety checkpoint on Thursday as a follow-up based on our conversations from the trolley. So again, it was a first try. We learned things. You know, I think there's some really good notes that various members of the committee that participated in the ride-alongs provided. I think having some extra stickers, you know, the little wave stickers to hand out to the children, I think is very effective. Because again, sometimes they're, you know, too young to really have a T-shirt or really appreciate things. But if we can give them a sticker for their bike helmet, they appreciate that. The parents appreciate it. So I think having the stickers, I think the T-shirts were effective. I think the whole effort was really good. And again, the 3:30 time seems to be better to catch people in the afternoon, rather than 4:30 seems to be a little late. And again, did anybody try one in the evening? Because there was some thought about maybe trying to do one of these when people might be coming back from a bandstand performance or something like that, just as an opportunity where there may be perhaps more people on the trolleys. I don't know.
Well, Diane and I talked about that, and it was going to be too much, the number of people that are on those buses at that point. And 3:30 seemed to work out fine, because you were getting a lot of people starting to go home, talking with dinner and everything.
Okay.
3:30 seemed to work out best.
Okay,
And
great.
we
The
got them-
bandstand time, it just looked like
We-
it was going to be
We
too.
got them both ways. We got them as at the start, and then we got the people that
we
were
got
coming
them.
on as we were leaving. So that was
Right.
great. So we got
So
two.
we got two
Two
buses.
for one.
And, you know, the other general comment, I mean, as we talk about things we can get better, was the appreciation. I mean, I think every one of the people we talked to appreciate us being out there having conversation with, because they didn't realize, they said, that's really, we like this, the fact you guys are here helping us was really well received, so, we'll definitely factor that in and plan it.
And to piggyback on Art, just real quick, about the bicycle rodeos, a comment that I had on the bus, can we put up a sign on the bus that says when those dates are?
Oh, that's a good idea.
And, those,
Yeah.
and what the event's all about and what we're trying to do. I think you get a lot more advertisement that way.
Well, I'm just so grateful for the police department leading the charge on that. I think those 2 bicycle safety checkpoints have been very well received and very effective, especially the distribution of the lights. I think that goes a long way. And again, I think the one person from DelDOT said in his experience that was the most people they'd ever seen at any of the checkpoints. The first one in July, I think we had 160 some odd people. They were very kind of astounded that we had that many people come, and I was very impressed with the result, and I think it really reflected well on the town.
Yeah. Good. Okay. And what I'll do is I will follow through what I said. I'll go through our formal emails, coalesce that all together, add these comments, and get that out to everybody. So we have the sort of the whole, because that'll really be helpful for next year. Okay. So now we want to move into, oh, I'm sorry, we had a question from the audience, or somebody wanted to make a comment. I forget who. Please, and if you go to the, and please. And it's for the people on the that aren't here. Okay. Did you have it about this, or? Okay. After Ann, though, because we're going to be moving into our initiatives, it might be a good time, Marcia, right? Yep. Please, go ahead, Ann.
And Gibson Avenue. So when Bob was saying, I had already thought about maybe when the J1 students get their bikes and all, somehow could we make a really short video explaining bike safety? And I was up at the St. Anne's when they came and got their backpacks and their pizza and all that, helping a little. And I noticed that some of the backpacks did have the bright.
Right.
And I see kids all the time, like you said, in black, without their lights on, without their helmets on. But I look back, or if they're in front of me, I say, well, at least that's there. And I'm sorry I don't know your name, the second gentleman.
Carl?
That was I was thinking when you said the armband thing, maybe since the kids don't put their lights on, maybe somehow wrap that around the back of the bike or something, because they're not turning them on. And then also back to the movie thing, and you said, and I had thought about it and wrote it down before, like on the trolley, I don't know if there's a TV, because honestly I haven't been on the trolley in a while, but if there was something, that same short video about, hey, turn your lights on, or hey, because sometimes things need to be knocked into our heads. The other day I saw a kid, a young girl on her bike, and I took my light off to give to her on the back because she had all black on and no helmet, and I'm just like, could you just use it, So anyway, and I know I didn't talk in here, so.
Thank you, Ann. And just as a reminder, one of the things, I did have a couple conversations with the folks from Mariners Bethel since then, because they do, in addition to giving people things, what I'm really most impressed with, and Officer Ryan, I know, has seen this, they do a great, actually, training. It's not just like, do this, do that. They literally get people in the parking lot and show them and go over things, which is a great add too, so that's super. Thank you, Ann. Marsh, did you want to, if you're going to talk about, because that might lead us right into our next initiative is around areas of improvement, and so that might fit in really well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you just introduce yourself and where you live, that'd be great.
Marcia Whiteman. I live at 300 Parkwood Street, which is at the corner of Route 1 and Parkwood. I became a full-time resident last year, but I've owned that home since '09. So I see a lot of things happening at that corner. And since becoming a full-time resident, I have wrote DelDOT asking for some kind of help at that intersection. I specifically requested one of those flashing signs or flashing beacons, and was told no, that they felt that that intersection was safe. But I do want to point out a few things that I wholeheartedly think DelDOT is wrong on. Number one, the corner of Parkwood and Route 1 is actually a crossover to get to the 200 block of Parkwood. A lot of vehicles, including truck deliveries, lawn services, in order to avoid the left turn lane up here at the light to come into the town of Bethany, because it's a long light, red light, to make a left turn, they come down to Parkwood. They can't turn on Hollywood because that's a emergency access median. But what they do is they come down and they make a left onto Parkwood Street. Therefore, that intersection sees a high volume of traffic. I was told that based on previous traffic studies, that the amount of traffic does not justify them putting in a flashing beacon. It also is because it's not a through street, they can't put in a beacon. But with that being said, I want to tell you that there have been several near misses, and one with me. I reported it to DelDOT. I'm shocked that they didn't report it to you guys, but last fall, I was at the crosswalk waiting for traffic to stop, and the traffic stopped. I started to cross. A car was coming off the 200 block of Parkwood Street and decided that because there was traffic stopped on the southbound lane, that they would come through and cut me off. I came this close from being hit with myself and my two animals. I literally cried all the way to the beach. Just yesterday, trying to cross, heading that way, I was in the median. The first lane stopped. The second lane kept going. And finally, she stopped. A car stopped. And as I was crossing through, she was yelling at me, raising her voice, rolling her window down like I was, doing something wrong. It's not only a safety issue with the pedestrians, it's with the bicycles as well, because we have to yield not only to traffic, but also to those bicycles, those scooters that are going in that lane. I reached out to Captain Foley and sent an email. First off, I did send that email in January to DelDOT. It took them 6 months to respond to me. I had to send another email in May asking for somebody to respond to it. And basically what they sent me was a long explanation. Studies were done in 2019. At this time, they're comfortable with what they have set up along Route 1 in Bethany, and that it was my responsibility to yield to traffic, which, yes, it is my responsibility, but it's also the car's responsibility. And it's a law that they should be stopping, and they're not stopping. I think we all can attest to that. Route 1 is really terrible. Hey, Ron. Anyway, long story short, it's a big problem. And I would like for it to be addressed. I understand that maybe funds are not available to put in a flashing beacon. So what I did suggest is maybe we put up some sort of, what you see like in Dewey Beach, where they have those like stanchion signs that are slender that say stop for pedestrians. If that could be incorporated into what we currently have. But at Parkwood Street, I don't think there was accountability on these surveys, because I read through those surveys, those traffic surveys, and Parkwood Street wasn't even mentioned. And to me, living on that corner, it's a big thoroughfare for traffic, and that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah.
We have, as you know, over the last 5 years or so, have installed, I guess, three of those beacons, 4 actually, on Route 1 already. So I'm not saying that's enough. But we are trying to do that. Actually, the last one we put in on Oakwood, coming out of Bethany proper because of the traffic there. Ashwood, I'm sorry, I always confuse the woods. We literally paid for it because it wasn't gonna be, reach enough priority or funding level for DelDOT. So we just decided at that intersection, because you got that whole community coming out, we basically paid for it. So I've captured your thoughts. I mean, I know we're having conversations about, do we need it more on the north side, right? We have 2 now, I think. So that's open for debate and conversation. Yep, thank you. I mean, ideally, I guess you could say you'd have one on each street, right? The only thing you run into there, to be quite honest, is a little bit of the traffic flow, right? I mean, the thought is a little bit you can move up a block or move down a block and get to a crossing station, right, now. Well, I'm just saying, that's that balance point, and that's what I'm sure what DelDOT, the more they put in, they'll say, well, you got 3 or 4, but I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying we've captured it, and I know we've got some energy for ones north of town too, another one. So, thank you. Yeah, and your near miss was.
Scary.
I think all of us can appreciate that feeling of being that close to something happening, and how it impacted you. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
One question?
Absolutely,
Okay.
please.
Thanks, Chairman. Marcia, thank you, and thanks for being here and telling us all about this. It's really important. I think that's one of the reasons we're here. But, I was just looking at a map of the area, because I forget how it looks like, but is there any value if you were to put along the stop sign that's at the corner of Parkwood and Route 1, right? There's a stop sign that you can't just drive out. You got a stop sign there. A no left turn sign, a no U-turn sign, something else that might deter that traffic from going down Parkwood as it wants to escape the congestion elsewhere.
Yeah, of course, that probably would have a good impact for a pedestrian. But then I think what you're going to run into is people going further down Route 1 and using the median there, which, what is that, Oakwood, Ashwood?
Yeah. Same, it just pushed the problem away. Thanks. Just one. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Any other questions on that? So, thank you again, Marcia.
If we're talking about Wave 3.0 initiatives, could I jump back to the Mariners Bethel program again?
Sure.
If I may. And Carl, you went this year. I didn't go this year, but I went the previous year. One thing that was nice, again, it's a wonderful program if you guys haven't had a chance to see it, but they offered me the opportunity to speak at they have a training session during the day where they show films, and it's at a classroom type of situation. And they have little, safety films, and they emphasize again, wear your helmet, do this, do that. It was really good. But they gave me an opportunity to go to the class and then also to speak at the end of the presentation. And again, I just emphasized a couple points that I thought were important with safety. So again, I think this year, or next year, we might want to consider talking to the people from Mariners Bethel maybe in February or March to see if they would afford this, an opportunity for us, and perhaps work with them or be part of their training session if possible. If nothing else, to kind of just reemphasize that, we're representing the town of Bethany and we want to make sure that you have a safe experience here. So here are some of the points that we just want to make sure you're aware of and are taking the steps accordingly. So again, they were very receptive when I went there 2 years ago, and perhaps we could do something like that in 2026. So just, again, it would be, I guess we have a contact with Mariners Bethel, but I think they'd be interested in our input as well. because again, they're trying to make it safe for everybody. We want it to be a win-win situation. The thing with the, from my perspective, I live on 3rd Street and I cross Route 1 pretty much daily. It's dicey. And again, during the off-season, it's much better. I think people are learning to be aware. During the summer, there's just so many people here. A lot of people just are unaware, and a lot of times I will cross, but people will stop very suddenly. And in turn, I'm always worried about somebody being hit from behind. It's always a concern. One of the things that I'm just noticing personally is a lot of times it's hard to see those flashing beacons, especially when it's bright during the day. And again, they are sitting very low. So I don't know what people's thoughts are, but I do know that the new flashing beacon that was set up over at the entrance to Fresh Pond on the north side with the higher, display, I think is much more effective. So I don't know if that would be, I know it would cost more money and it would be up to DelDOT, but I'm wondering if something like that might be helpful here considering the number of incidents we're having. Because again, if it was a higher display, I think people would probably more likely see it more readily and in turn respond to it. So again, we've got I think 4 flashing beacons set up in the town area right now. So if, those 4, or maybe try 1 to see how it works, but that might be an option in terms of just having a little more distinct warning to people, so that if people are coming from behind or whatever, they'll see that this is happening more readily rather than rely on a sign that's not that high and maybe difficult to see in the bright light. So that's just a thought. I talked to the people from DelDOT and they said basically we could do that. We could upgrade all of the spots, but it would just cost money. So anyway, just a suggestion. That might be worth considering, because I've used the crosswalk up. I've used the flashing beacons up by the entrance to the north portion of Fresh Pond, and it's very effective. I did it just to kind of as a test, and I did it in an off time, and I wasn't trying to disrupt traffic, but I just wanted to see how cars would react to it and just how the display worked, and it was extremely effective. And cars stopped. There was no incidents in me crossing or coming back. So I think what they did up at Fresh Pond is wonderful, and perhaps that's something that could be considered for some of the other locations.
You see it.
So just a thought. Do you think that might have some value? Okay.
Sometimes in the off-season, it's worse than the in-season, because I think that at this point, the landscape of Bethany has changed so much over the last 5 to 10 years that, and I haven't seen any traffic flow studies, but there's a lot of vehicles traveling around 24/7, 365. So it's hard to cross Route 1, and I cross it. Myself and my family, we use that intersection 6 to 10 times a day to cross over. Walking dogs, going on a run, going on a bike ride. I mean,
But part of the education too, we can talk about raising lights and those were, I know specifically because of the speed issue, right? You've got cars literally going 65. You had to lower the speed limits, and then you've got to give them time to sort of see that. Whereas you get here, it's like Dewey, right? You're already at a lower. But one of the frustrations for me is the number of times you go up and down here and people are crossing the road. They haven't even engaged the light. So it doesn't matter how high you make the light if people don't literally use it, right? I almost want to get out every time and go, because that's why they're there, is to create that awareness. But so it's multifaceted. So let's pivot if you can. Mr. Mayor. No, you can't talk, Ron. Please.
I am
Well, you live
Ron
in Park.
Kaler, 308 Parkwood. I am Marcia's neighbor.
Okay.
Is he the culprit?
And I know that intersection extremely well. There's a lot of things going on at that intersection. As Marcia said, we get a lot of turnarounders that, they think they're turning on 26 and they go down and all of a sudden you can't get through. It's not a through street, But we also get a lot of U-turners, you know, coming up and turning to go back, or coming down this way and turning back this way. Some of them I don't understand why they're U-turning, but it's amazing how many U-turners are right there. And then, like Marcia said, people coming out of Parkwood from the 200 block, you know, they can't come down Hollywood and make the left-hand turn, but they can do it at Parkwood. So a lot goes on there. I also understand DelDOT's position on this. You know, I think it's only 2 blocks to the light right here, so you can stop and, you know, let the light stop the traffic. Also, you've got Wellington 1 block beyond us with a flashing beacon. So, and we're not a through street. You know, that's you know, Wellington is a definite thoroughfare. You've got all the traffic, foot traffic and bike traffic coming in, following the Collins Street and onto Wellington. And I mean, that flasher is going off all the time. So just to point out,
Yep.
a lot of things going on.
Yep.
So.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Marcia. So let's transition into, and this is really, I want to be cognizant of our time because I know you all got things going on. These were, when we talk about Wave 3.0, this is a lit chart we've had for a while, but it's really sort of what we sometimes refer to as our umbrella chart. But these are just some various folks or people that we want to try to target, if you will, with some of this messaging and some of the specific, like the micro ideas behind it, right? And so what I was hoping to do today is if we can get a little bit of conversation, discussion, we pick 2 or 3 at tops, because again, that list is not going to go anywhere. We're going to keep it. I'm sure we're going to be adding to it. There's probably things we can already add to it that I haven't gotten up there, so I apologize for that. But if there's 1 or 2 things that we can agree, let's work on and decide, you know, what our next steps are. Do we, for example, if we want to put together, Ann said something about a video right before. Okay, do we want to create, and we can create this ourselves. We don't have to go out and hire anyone. With the technology we have now, with a little bit of creative thinking and also done in a way that can be impactful, create something that we can then utilize in our various social media, whether it's the app, whether it's the website, whether it's in meetings like art, you know, we can utilize when we meet with different communities. So is there 1 or 2 things? Again, I just want to try to get us to work on 1 or 2 things first, and then we'll come back and keep chipping away at it. So does anyone have any?
I've got 2 if you want. Just again, this is based on my observation and feedback from the community from a lot of different people. I think if we work on, again, just from a safety standpoint, the being seen, being safe, especially at night. So again, people having reflective gear, lights, et cetera, that's a huge issue. The other issue that I'm finding is that the direction of travel. I've seen too many times where it's on Route 1, some of the other roads here, with a very, very narrow bike area, people going the wrong direction. And again, if you've got a lot of traffic on 26 and somebody's coming the wrong way and there's somebody coming the right way, you're going to have a real issue.
Right.
And it's not just on 26, but it needs to be, if we can drive that point home, again, you ride with the traffic and you walk and run against it, I think you'll be much better off, both in town as well as some of these highways.
Just this morning, riding through Bethany on Pennsylvania, you know, how many times I had to go into the travel lane as a bicyclist to pass pedestrians who are walking the wrong way. And I was going to suggest there is one sign, a very small sign up, I think, in around Ocean View Parkway. It says, walk facing traffic, ride with traffic. But I'd like to have that expanded and maybe bigger and have that posted around so people see that. I understand, you know, there's no sidewalk on Pennsylvania, and when you park out there and you're going to the beach, you're not going to cross the street to walk half a block and then cross the street again. I understand all that, but still, that's about 3 months of the year, and the rest of the time, you just have people out there just coming from Sea Colony or wherever, and they just don't know that, they're supposed to walk facing traffic and ride with traffic as a bicyclist.
Mark? Thank you, Carl. Okay.
Yeah, just thinking about the list of groups on the slide. I mean, in our discussion today, the two that jumped off the slide at me are the J1 workers who, although they're seasonal, I mean, a lot of the discussion was about, encouraging them to have
Yep.
something visible at night, et cetera, and not riding electric scooters. And then drivers. I mean, whatever we can do to encourage drivers to be more alert, not be distracted, obey the speed limits, stop when they see the beacons flashing, et cetera. I would say those are two key targets. And I have to say, I was very pleased at the lowering of the speed limits on one, but I've had so many birds flashed at me when I obey the speed limits, and flashing lights and honking horns, and why are you in the left lane? Well, because I'm going to turn left.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, but Mickey, if I can, I agree with Mark. I think the emphasis of this group should also be placed on the drivers and the, I don't want to say aggressiveness, but I can see it in myself. In off-season, you can get to the Giants in 2 minutes. During season, it can take you up to 45 minutes, and you tend to be a little bit more, reactive. But I think if we can this team puts a focus on the drivers as well, because the pedestrians, the bicyclists, what are we concerned with? What are we trying to be safe from? Is the drivers.
Okay.
And what's going on.
Okay, so let me suggest something just to keep us rolling here. Because some of these will touch various groups, right? Experience like this idea of being seen, being safe, and what I heard Art say is especially at night.
Yeah.
So what my proposal would be to build off that and see what we can do to build something out, whether it's a video, whether it's something that's specifically designated to being seen and being safe at night as one.
I like that.
Okay?
I think that's good.
Is that okay? Because that would apply just about every.
Yes.
It actually applies to all of this community of people, right? Whether it's your grandson or a J1 worker or a, a
And getting
spouse.
the businesses to buy in on it.
Well, yeah. Let's not solve it though. I'm just trying to get what are we going to work on first. Yeah, I'm with you, Bob.
Major topic.
And let me just pick another one, just because this direction of travel thing.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And so Art talked about that, but then Carl added to it, breaking it down between pedestrian and bicycle. So let's sort of and those can be very unique and different, right? I mean, the pedestrians versus bicycles for the reasons you talked about. If we take those two major ones, right, being seen at night, right, and that can actually be even pedestrian and bicycle.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Because there's people walking along these roads at night, coming back that you can't see either, right?
Right.
Oh, there's people that go out exercising with
Oh, that's a-
no, there's a whole
So-
bunch.
So,
And with the right direction.
so let's try to focus on those two first. Bob, what I'd like to do is come back, and if you wouldn't mind, because you've got some energy for it, the driver one's harder because it's hard to interact with people. I don't know how do you, I mean,
Well, we talked about it on our bus rides. Hey, you're a tourist here. Here are the traffic rules.
right, but you're talking to people that are walking. I'm actually, when you see somebody who's being an aggressive driver, how do you interact with them?
Oh, no, I'm
That's
just
my
saying that's an
challenge.
educational
No,
thing.
no.
How do you communicate?
Yeah, it doesn't say we can't do it. I'm just saying, if you wouldn't mind just brainstorming a little bit, let's work on these other two right now. Let's try to put some sort of stakes in the ground with actually building that out, whether it's a video, whether it's a pamphlet. I know a couple of us have, Carl's done some work, getting us a couple pamphlets and stuff, that we can engage people around those specific topics. And Bob, if you could just run a little bit with the driver one, and help us frame up a little bit how we would go about that.
How
you know?
would we perform an outreach on that, I guess?
I have an idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I would just suggest work with the police, because they're the ones that are actually much more, have an opportunity with that than we do. You know what I mean? I can't pull somebody over for, they can, if they really see like aggressive driving or that kind of stuff. Is that fair? Because I want to.
Yeah.
So.
I'll put down some topics underneath that on how, you know.
Yeah, so think about, and that doesn't have to be like right now, just get that one started for us in the background. Can we break this one up a little bit, like the direction of travel? Is there a couple people that want to work on that? Carl and, okay. So Carl and Mark, direction of travel, and you'll do it for both, like think about it in two ways, right? Pedestrians and bicycles, right? And then how about for the being seen? I'd like to work on that one.
Sure, I'll be happy to work on that one.
I'll do it.
Okay, Diane and Mickey. Okay, cool. All right. So let's not try to do that now. Let's do that offline. We can just put our thoughts together. But let's think about like a concrete kind of, whether it's a video, whether it's a pamphlet, whether it's something we can put on the app. Because then Julie, and just think about like trying to frame that up. Like, what would you like to see? Would you like to have like a demo or a video of somebody, or maybe it's a police officer involved, or maybe one of us saying, hey, blah, 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 here's what's happened before. It's important to be on this side of the street. Here's why. You know, it's sort of not just the what and how, but the why, right? We talked about that before. And as a way of trying to put something together. And then it doesn't have to be like a formal script, just something, just rough it out, and then we can film it, put it together, and then it can incorporate into all these other avenues of engagement that we have with people. Does that make sense? And we'll do the same thing with the, between Art, Diane, and I on the other one, on the being seen. Okay? Is that fair for short term? Okay. Good. So we'll keep our list up, and here's what I'd ask you to do. Please, this is not if there are other topics come up that we want to put on here for us, right? So that we don't lose it, let's do it. This is just meant, we've seen this now, we built it out over a couple of years.
Yeah. And I do think, with what Marcia was saying, I do think if we put an eye on safety program together, that gives the ability of people to say, hey, this is what happened to me, this is what's going on. So you document those near misses, those risk items, instead of waiting for something to happen and just say, okay, we had an accident. I do think it would be important, and it also gives a voice to the community to document what they're seeing and, things that can be done.
So let me, Bob, great. Let me build off that. So let's have, we'll add another category up here, like near misses, close calls, and that whole idea of, as we learn those, Marcia's, we all have them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've all talked about them, that we maybe say, okay, let's learn from that. And the learning from it is let's reenact it a little bit, or let's say what happened, right? How close you came to almost getting hit, right? We can, and that just personalizes it to people. This isn't just a rule or procedure that DelDOT puts out or Delaware Transportation. It's like, here's the impact, right? And we could literally have a sort of a capture point on this for those kind of things that we can build out. It would be sort of cool to get all these near misses we've had, right?
Well, I mean, that's documentation. That's good to, send
Yeah,
on
yeah.
off, That's definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Well, if I could just jump in here for a second, and one thing that was interesting to me, and I sent this out to everybody here on the committee, was there was a newsletter from the Bethany Beach Landowners Association that came out this week, and they did a poll back in July, and this newsletter reflected the results of the poll. And apparently of the respondents, and I think 169 people responded, 72% said that they did not feel comfortable walking or biking in Bethany, which was kind of a little bit surprising to me, but perhaps, it was what to be considered. Now, again, it was not an open-ended question. It was I think it was just a yes or no set of responses. It would have been better if for us, if we'd seen if an open-ended question, if people had actually provided feedback. So what I was wondering is there a mechanism that we could do as a committee to try and solicit more input from the public, as opposed to, we can sit here and the people here are great that are providing input here in the room. There's people on the panel here that talk to a lot of people. We're providing a lot of input. But in advance of the idea generation workshop in October, I think that's what we're calling it, is there a way that we can perhaps provide some type of vehicle for people to have the open-ended portion of this, like, tell us why do you not feel comfortable in town, if you don't, okay? Again, I'm guessing that what might be part of this is because there's so many people downtown in July, okay? And just people everywhere, cars everywhere, perhaps that's why they're uncomfortable. And again, the volume of people here is one thing that we have to be aware of, but maybe there are other issues. So again, I don't know if there's a way we can do this. I mean, I think if we actively invite people to come to the Idea Generation Workshop, that would be great. And then we invite people to the event in March, but is there a way we can actually solicit input in the interim?
Yeah, and to respond to Art, that's why I came up with the thought of Eye on Safety, based on that email that you did send. I think if the public has a means to communicate what has happened, Marcia, what's been going on. Bob, I'm crossing 26, and pickup truck from Candlelight to Gibson to make that left-hand turn is riding the turning lane, where you can document that and feel free to be able to document and not offend anybody. I think will be a good means to, capture those things.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we
And
just
we
have
can
an
build
email
off of
address.
that.
Maybe we just set up an email address for Bethany Beach Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee, and then we make a point of send us your thoughts. How can we make it better? And then, whatever they send in, we'll respond to. And if nothing else, it does again show the town is making the effort to try and be as responsible and caring and safe as possible. So, I'm not sure what may come of it, but I don't think that would be a bad idea.
It gives everybody a voice and
Right.
everybody, a means to feel free to be able to discuss what they've seen. I've seen things, Marcia seen things, you've seen things, we've all seen things. But instead of only reporting it when it's an incident, I think if we can communicate what's been going on amongst ourselves and, to the public, and maybe during those bus rides say, hey, family, if you're riding 26 and you got little kids, you might not want to do that on bicycle. You might want to go down Collins.
Exactly, yeah.
Those type of things.
Well, and when I did the ride-alongs, there were several people that said, I mentioned to them, we have a monthly meeting of this committee, and you're welcome to come and share any thoughts you have, and they were glad to hear that. But again, sometimes they may not be here, et cetera, et cetera. But some of them said, do you have an email address? And again, the town does have an email address, I believe, that people can send stuff to. But if we actually had one set up for the committee, that might be, advantageous. Just a thought.
That's a good idea.
Good. That's awesome, Art. So what I just to sort of wrap up and tail that into your comment. These are some of the things we worked on so far this year that we were trying to around engagement, in addition to the ride-alongs and the other. I know a lot of you literally have conversation. I know I do with people all the time about this topic. They're never going to get captured up there as a formal event, but it's about trying to engage people, learn and listen. And but the thing we want to focus on now is this idea generation workshop. So that's scheduled for the 23rd of October. I think this is the third year we've had it. So we need to have clearly a little bit of publicity for it that can go out as part of our town newsletter. We can certainly incorporate that into the BBLA newsletter. We can send something out directly via just we have emails of everybody, we can send that out. So we'll, and I forget, I think we had a brochure, or not a template we put together for it last year that we posted.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll follow back up with Julie on that we can probably upgrade a little bit. But the whole idea of that is to have people come from the community, like Marcia and others, and talk about, and what are the things that they either like, because there's a lot of good stuff going on too. I mean, I don't want to just focus on the things that are, because there's a lot of efforts being put in across the board, and you see it. There's a lot of times I'm thanking people for using the crosswalk the right way, right? That positive reinforcement's important too. But also to come with what they would like to, what would be their idea. Do we need a better way to communicate with this group, with the town, or whatever? But having an email, I mean, that can, if we think that'll give folks another avenue to send stuff directly, that's fine. So what else do we need to do? And the other reminder for this is, we had talked about before, we were gonna have Officer Rogers do the same overview that he
That's
gave
right,
at
yeah.
the library
Yeah.
a while back. I know we've seen the charts. I wasn't able to go to it, but it was very, I think, well received, though it had a small audience, is to have him actually do that in the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's sort of like priming the pump a little bit. It's informational, it's a learning, and then gets people thinking about, okay, what can we do? What's the next step? So is that format okay? I mean, just
Yeah.
Officer Rogers and then just open it up to the public, okay?
Just one small thing, but a follow-up from last year's idea generation workshop. So one idea that came up was to have a bike rack outside Town Hall, and it's sitting right there now. So some of the ideas come to fruition, so I parked there this morning.
So let's work on,
Having more of those.
I'll touch base with Julie just to see if we can, or maybe I should have it on my file someplace, or if somebody does. Well, I know we had like
Like a flyer?
a flyer kind of thing that we sent out. We both posted it and we sent it out virtually. But we can utilize our connections with BBLA. We have a couple board members who are on that. We can use the town newsletter. We can use a direct letter to the people, just encouraging their ideas. It's not but again, I don't want it to be a come and complain about everything either. I want it to be, let's be thoughtful about, here's the issue, here's what I'd like to try to do about it. Or if people don't know what to do about it, that's okay too, right? But not just be a sort of a gripe session either. I just don't think that's necessarily the most impactful way. But we'll I mean, the last couple of years it's been fine. It's really been very good ideas, and we'll dig out actually the list we had from before, because it was a good list. It was literally a page full. Okay.
Might be a good idea to invite people from ABC program and maybe some of the surrounding communities if they interact with us.
I would prefer this one to be for Bethany
In that,
Beach.
Yeah.
If we want to make an exception with ABC, that's fine.
Maybe the March meeting would,
The March one, we're gonna
March
do
meeting,
again.
they-
We're gonna
they
do
all
that
come to
again.
the
So
March meeting, yeah.
I think, I really want this to be for our community to come together, right? Now, if somebody walks in from Ocean View and has an idea, I mean, we're not gonna stop them, but I don't want it to be, where we have 7 or 8 communities. I mean, that's what we did with what we do with the March meeting, is literally to get that kind of interaction and sharing. We wanna learn from each other. I just wanna hear from the people who live here, give them their opportunity for a voice to be heard in this session, okay?
So this is, even though we do this at every meeting, this is specifically just that?
Yep, it's just,
Okay. All right, I just...
yeah. And what we did last time, and it sort of gets, we used actually September. I wasn't gonna necessarily say schedule a meeting for September. I don't think we need it, but we can do it if you'd like. We use September as a way, Carl, what was I saying before? I think it was you, where we literally did a little brainstorm amongst our team and said, let's reflect back on the year, what worked well, what didn't, and what do we learn from it. And then we did that internally, right? And that became sort of the beginning for then that. So we actually shared, here's what we're looked at. Now let's get the input from the community.
Would I be correct to assume that at this idea generation workshop, in addition to Corporal Rogers, I guess it is, doing his presentation, would we have a presentation in terms of what this committee or, the town has done in terms of like, we helped 300 plus people at the, the bike safety checkpoints, and we distributed nearly 100 sets of lights at the July 4th parade event. So in other words, again, we could come back with, we're doing a lot of good stuff. So again, I think the town is really very well managed, and I think a lot of really good things are going on. So I don't mean to, in any way sell anybody short, but this is an idea generation workshop, how we can make things even better. But again, if we had some type of presentation that could kind of quantify some of the things that we have done to date, that might help in terms of just, kicking the thing off. I don't know what your thought would be, but I think that might be useful.
Yeah, I like that idea, Mark, saying that these are the positive things that we have done, but what else can we do
Right.
to make it better?
So we kind of build a positive momentum as opposed, again, I don't want it to turn into a gripe session. I don't think anybody does, because that's not helpful to anybody. What we want to do is talk positively of like, here's what we've done so far, here's what we can do to make it even better. That would be my take.
Okay, so let's do, so just from a format perspective, how about we start with that, then we'll do Officer Rogers, okay?
Okay.
Or do you want, or would you rather do it the other way around? Would you want to do Officer Rogers?
Either way, I just again, I think
and
this.
then we get into, because we might have, I mean, when we've done this before, we've actually had, even though it's October, we've had as I recall, we had a pretty good, I think the meeting was almost full.
Yeah.
Maybe no one shows up. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to have a lot of people because people care and they want to have their voices heard.
Oh, sure.
And I think they
they're just donuts.
recognize we appreciate it, that we're going to listen. So, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. And all the comments, I want to second all the comments that have been made. Just two cautions for you. One is you don't invite people to a meeting and then you talk to them so much that they don't have a lot of time to talk. We need to be careful about that.
Right.
And if we're going to talk about, if we want to say, we got these ideas from you, which I thought Mark had a great idea. We got these ideas from you last time. This is what we've done. Maybe what we need to do is put a list together, right, on a piece of paper and hand that to people so that we can say, these are the kinds of things that this workshop, resulted in last time. And we're not going to spend a lot of time today talking about it because we're here to hear from you again to hear about the future and discuss the future. But here's a record of what we've got, and maybe as the leader of the discussion, you can just trip through some of those things and do that. But I really, the ideas here are wonderful. I just want to make sure we're not saying, hey, come and talk to us, and then we have to listen for 45 minutes
Yeah.
to
So we
what we're saying.
remember, we literally took, I think this is really good. This is why this conversation is awesome, because we actually took that, we had pages of lists, and we broke it down into training, education, infrastructure, and other things. So we can pull that right back out and then look at the things we've been able to.
We also broke it down, doable, not doable.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. But I mean, that might be a nice way to sort of, rather than, that's the connection, from the feedback we've gotten. Here's what you told us, here's what we've been able to do. And people say, Mickey, or team, you have this on your list, you didn't do it. That's important to me. Great, okay, we'll put a star by it, and that's, so that we'll use it. I think I love that connection back to what we did before. We have that, that's all good. Good. Okay. I think that's it in terms of the agenda. Anything else from anyone? Rich McHugh, member of council, has been here the whole time. Thank you for coming, sir. And anything from anyone else? Raylene? Any comments from you're a member of our team too, whether you want to be or not. You're okay.
I'll be telling you after the meeting. I don't know if this is appropriate. I might get in trouble. That's okay.
So, Brian, I'm just telling you, hang loose, because you know what's going to come next, right?
So I was just generating some ideas back there. Maybe
Yeah.
this is more appropriate for October, but I had to get them out. I was thinking maybe we could do a video in the off season. Somebody pushes one of the lights and we video a car coming up and stopping, and we post that to the website like before the big weekends, like Memorial Day weekend's coming, or like Dewey's opening up. Let's show people how to use it and what the cars need to do. Just trying to think of how to engage drivers.
Okay.
My other thing is, and we've been told no before, but I thought maybe if you brought other towns in, maybe Del Dot would say yes. The signs coming down Route 1, if we could put like a catchphrase, like one of the catchy catchphrases they use up there all the time to like how to tell people to stop at the RRFB's piece.
Yeah.
But like a catchy phrase, and I haven't come up with that yet, so give me some time to brainstorm on that.
No, yeah.
And then this one might be too big of a distraction for drivers, but I'm thinking, you said positive reinforcement, and I'm like, what if we stand at the RRFPs and hold signs and like, thank you for stopping, and I don't know, I'm just trying to, outside the box thinking. But those were my 3 ideas to engage drivers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Raylene, thank you. I mean, so I got this picture that's awesome, right? I mean, literally, you know, I tend to be a little bit more of a visual guy. Can you imagine holding up a sign when somebody stops there? Thank you, right? And now some people are going to look at you, what the hell are they doing, right? But other people are going to go, that's pretty cool. Who are those people, right? And they're thanking me for stopping. It doesn't matter who we are. The issue is I've been thanked for stopping. That is awesome.
I thought about throwing candy,
That's good.
That's fantastic.
We could have costumes on.
Somebody's gonna throw an apple at you. Say, what are you slowing me down for, right?
That's awesome. Very good. And so you could do it the other way too. When somebody activates the sign, right, you can thank them for, I mean, you got like, it's awesome stuff. Brian, sir, any thoughts, comments? I want to thank you for jumping in and facilitating this for us today.
It's
You're
no
awesome.
problem. As far as bicycle safety and pedestrian safety, I think you guys are doing a great job. You guys are on top of it, and nothing else from me. So thank you guys.
Okay. Brian's out and about all the time with our town. So, Brian, your feedback, comments are always valued and welcome. So, okay, let's. Any other comments from the public or from our team? Carl?
Yeah, I just want to pass these out. These are the brochures that we passed out at the bicycle safety checkpoints.
Yep.
And a year ago, we talked a little bit about doing our own brochure, like it would be a wave brochure, only for bicycles. My question for the committee is this enough? And you don't have to answer today. Is this enough? One is by Safe Cycling, the other one is by Del Dot. Is this enough? Because we can get tons of these things from John Fiore. Or should we proceed on and try to do our own thing?
Just put the wave sticker on these. We could just put the wave sticker on these.
Plagiarism
Yeah,
is
we
great
could
because
put
this
the
is
wave
good.
sticker on it, that's right.
Yeah, I guess my thought, Carl, just off the top, is we've got some good stuff, and we have handed this out, right?
Yeah.
I think this is pretty good stuff. Rather than trying to refine or tweak this, I mean, I'm not quite sure what we do to make it. I mean, we could obviously make it very personal with Wave 3.0, but my sense is we've got this. Let's keep using these, but let's try to maybe put our efforts on like these build-outs that we're just got talking about. You know what I mean? That really, because what we're really doing is trying to help live this out, right? And that's what. So does that make sense, or does anyone
No,
agree or disagree?
and I was thinking, I don't know how we would add to this,
Yeah.
except to combine them into one
Right,
big brochure.
right.
But if we have these available, we can pass these
I
out.
know,
And I don't see.
this is great.
And people at the safety checkpoint were very pleased to have these things.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Good. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, Dan, you were on deck.
Just a
Yep.
quick question, and Carl's presentation reminded me of it. We have a subcommittee that's working on the road to
Yes.
Camp Barnes, as I call it. Is that a conversation that we should target for the March meeting? Because that's many more communities that are involved in that than looking for something for October.
Yes, yeah, I think it's, the challenge with that, right, and I think what you all are trying to do is work with both DelDOT and DENREC to try to create a critical mass, and also, I think part of that, as I recall, is connecting with the Ocean Views, the Millvilles, the, blah, blah, blahs of the world, because it's all, we're just taking the ownership to say that we want to run with it, right? But, I mean, we want to create some juice and momentum behind it. So I think it would be a great topic to be able to share back in March, but I think there's stuff that we can do now to sort of keep greasing the, I wouldn't wait till March. So my answer is sort of.
Yeah, what we found in our conversation with Don Fiore, and Carl, correct me please if I'm wrong, was that this is a pretty complicated process to get support even to build, some shoulder roads and stuff.
Even if you got approval, you're looking at probably 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long haul, and critical mass is a great term, Mickey. I mean, that's what we really need to have. We need to have the other communities joining with us to put some pressure, generate pressure that'll make this happen sooner if possible. But you've answered my question.
It's on the Georgetown Trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do.
But let us know,
see some of those on
let's
the
keep
highway
us
here.
tied in and
I said I'd
actually
love
even
to see
the
some
town,
of these
because
on the highway,
I
but
really.
that might be a topic for
Like,
this.
we're gonna meet with we have a Sussex County Association Town meeting next week. They don't do anything during the summer. I mean, I would love to press the flesh a little bit with each of them on that.
It's still an issue.
Ocean View, Millville, whoever else is out there, right? To say, we're
Especially when you get
gonna
the
take the
e-bikes.
ball and try to run with it, but we need, this is all our bandwagon, not just ours, right?
Right, great.
So,
That's terrific. Thank you.
okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I
Aye.
said,
First, second? Great, thank you for everybody. I know we went again a little bit longer, but we covered a lot of.
Can I pass it over to Mickey?
Signed.
but even,
Raylene, thank you. Brian, thank you very much.
I mean, because I think about that all the time. When we
Well-
have, even running on paths, on